This is the most majestic beard I have ever seen. Can I please touch it? As he's already elbow deep in this thing.
Yeah. Oh, you tasted it out of order. You have to do it this way and then lick your nose with it and then wipe both of your eyes at the same time and do a handstand in the corner and then it'll taste different.
I had to get on his Wi-Fi to be able to transfer him money via Venmo. His Wi-Fi account name was Crack House with a K.
Yeah.
And then the password was pineapple. So he's 100% a pineapple person. I don't believe for a second that it just happened to be Crack House and pineapple. That was way too specific.
That's why AI is not taking over anything. You shouldn't come here if you don't like our wine.
Guess what?
I'm already here. Welcome back to the He's Wrong, She's Right podcast. I'm Andrew. This is Nona. And we're going to try and talk about things that YouTube won't get mad at us about. Because if you say the wrong person's name, completely talking about nothing that has to do with anything related to the reason why YouTube wants to get mad at you, they'll still get mad at you.
So should we start spelling their names?
No, because it's literally reading the transcript. It's not listening to us talk, it's reading the transcript. So I had to go through and I deleted his last name. So we still say it. If you're watching this on Tuesday or whenever you're watching it, go back to episode 107, specifically so this might not be 108, but it probably is going to be 108. Go back and you'll hear the context and you'll still probably be like, why would this get them in trouble on YouTube? Because you won't be able to figure out what we're talking about. You won't figure out why we got in trouble with YouTube, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways.
All these bots and things that don't understand context. That's why AI is not taking over anything.
So I don't understand how we're the only ones getting cited and penalized and views deleted. And
we're not the only ones. Literally everybody that I watch, there's always something. When I watch like Demo Ranch, the rules.
Watch out. Don't talk about them.
Yeah.
You're going to get deleted.
Seriously. The rules for Firearms channels.
Okay, now I feel like we can't even say that word.
But we're not showing anything. And that's what the majority of the rules are, things that they show in the video. So they can show you a specific firearm.
Okay.
But they can't talk about some of the capabilities. They can't show you, okay, let's say that you have a firearm that has a detachable magazine.
Okay.
You're not allowed to show you putting the magazine in the mag well. Unless it's for a creative work like a film or documentary.
Okay, so they're going to shoot a 30-second short and call it creative work?
So they have been making all of their videos and like stylizing them with like effects and graphics and making them little mini movies.
Cute.
Because that's the only way that they can get away with doing the exact same thing that they've always done.
Okay.
You can't show assembly. You can't talk about assembly. Even a lot of the science YouTubers, they're like, oh, this is when I make my, like a rocket channel that I was just watching, right? Mm-hmm. He was like, yeah, I can't even show you how to make rocket propellant because technically it could be
used for negative things.
But
got
it. You said that you never watched any of those, like the science channel, like How It's Made or whatever. You didn't ever watch that in school.
Mm-mm.
We had, I feel like we watched it like when we had substitutes or something.
Gotcha.
Like it's like, oh, it's educational, but it's like how a brick is made.
Okay.
You know, like nothing anybody's actually paying attention to. Everybody's got their head down on their desk sleeping.
Okay.
This is like the new generation of that kind of content. They're just, nobody's doing anything malicious with it.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, oh, well, you can't show this. You can't talk about that. You can't show the steps. Or
when did the shift occur on YouTube?
So they have rule changes all the time. I get emails, update on policy. Typically, it's like they missed like an Oxford comma.
Okay.
And so they have to send out email after email after email. Our terms of service have changed. Our terms of service have changed. Our terms of service are changing in 14 days. Make sure you read it. Check the box. Our terms of service are changed. They changed yesterday. Did you check the box?
But why do our views keep getting deleted?
My best guess is that they are deleting views. So sometimes, sure, there's probably like bots and stuff that are watching it. But my best guess is that some people who are finding our content for the first time and aren't finding it interesting after like the first, 30 seconds or so, maybe even less.
Okay.
They back out of the video. Mm-hmm. That used to be counted because you have multiple different metrics. You have.
So everybody who clicked on this video to watch us talk about Michigan versus Michigan State and has already lost us because we're talking about YouTube.
Maybe.
Okay.
And we'll get to that. But so you have multiple metrics. You have views and you have watch time.
Okay.
So a view is counted typically based on click through to the video.
Okay.
And so you also have your click-through rate numbers. So we can see how many people click through to the video. We can see how many views the video's had. Okay. We can see watch time. We can see all demographics and all that kind of stuff. So the views are being deleted, but nothing else is.
It's still not cool.
Which views are the number that are public-facing.
Right.
So when people see your content, they're like, oh, 10,000 people watch this video. Maybe it's interesting.
Right.
Versus,
and
7
now it's
people.
37.
Yeah.
Anyways. All right. We've digressed enough.
I haven't. I have more.
Everybody wants to hear about our trip that we took 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
So, Andrew, what was your favorite part of the entire trip? Okay, should we pause that and you answer shortly?
No, I'm thinking about how to phrase it. Just going back to first of all, all the drunk people, which
this was at the game, I guess.
Yeah, tailgating.
You're okay. The tailgating.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I know what moment you're gonna say.
Yeah. So we rented a Jeep Wrangler, the 4xe electric version. Mm-hmm. Not like that wasn't the choice. That was like the class of vehicle, and that happened to be the one that they gave us. Which the rental car thing is weird now. They just leave the keys because it's all gated with spikes and all that nonsense. Mm-hmm. So, but they don't even like give you the key or anything in the thing. They're just like, oh yeah, walk outside. The keys in the car. Just drive away with it. You're like, okay. So we check in our hotel, which Nona will say I was, what did you call it?
Catfish. He was 100% catfish.
Hey, but the restaurant was nice.
That was definitely like a Days Inn or a Best Western that somebody else came in, bought, and then slapped a couple coats of paint on.
I looked it up, and that's always been that hotel.
No way.
Yep.
Since even the 50s?
I think it was like 68 or something like that is when it was built. Weber's.
Wild.
If you guys want to know, it's Weber's Boutique Hotel or something like that.
Well, it's exactly like a Days Inn or Best Western or
6 foot ceilings.
Something similar to that. Oh, yeah. Like literally his head touched the ceiling. Everything was straight out of the
you had to push
late
buttons
60s, early 70s. Anyways, so he was catfished. It's okay. It's okay. We survived. There were no bed bugs. That's all that matters to me. No bed bugs.
So I do want to throw this in there, though, because you know how... So people that buy toilets and things like that these days, if they want a fancy toilet and they want a bidet, usually they buy it and it's one... Like they buy a toilet that is a bidet.
Okay.
They're not like two separate things, like a plastic thing you snap onto your toilet bowl.
Well, that's if you're turning in your regular toilet to a bidet.
Yeah, I'm talking about new builds. I'm talking about bathroom models, whatever.
What?
That people would buy the toilet that has it already integrated. They don't buy a separate plastic snap-on. What do you call that? Like, one of those janky like toddler toys that are Fisher Price, like dump truck. Just made out of cheap plastic nonsense. Anyways, it was like the jankiest little thing that they like bungee corded to the toilet.
To be able to sell it as,
we
have high-end features like a bidet.
Yeah. They have a smart mirror, which was just a mirror that had lights.
Very special. Anyway, so he was catfished. It's okay. I didn't hold it against him.
But the restaurant was nice, and we ran into some people that happened to be going to my hometown. They were stopping there from Canada.
Small world.
On the way to where I was born. They were tattoo ink sellers. She followed us on Instagram. I don't remember what they're in the tattoo industry. They were promoting something within the tattoo industry. And that's all I remember. We went to after we did a whole day trip of trying to go to some vineyards that didn't exist. He's
fast forwarding to the end of the trip right now. Okay.
But we were talking about the hotel, so I'm explaining the restaurant side was nice. You're
ruining the whole story by jumping to the end.
No.
Okay. Now he's going to tell you what the highlight of his trip was, which was right in the...
I'm just kidding.
Which was right in the middle of the trip. So already jumping to the middle right now. What was the highlight of your trip?
Well, it's not the highlight, but
it was the highlight. It was the highlight.
No.
He will be talking about this for the rest of his life, guys. What was the highlight of your trip?
It's not the highlight. It's just the funniest part.
Highlight.
So we parked the Jeep, somebody's front yard. Mm-hmm. We walk a couple blocks up.
Oh, okay. No, I'm going to Kanye you for a moment. First of all, in order to be able to pay the guy that we parked, I had to get on his Wi-Fi to be able to transfer him money via Venmo. His Wi-Fi account name was Crack House with a K.
Yeah.
And then the password was pineapple. So he's 100% a pineapple person. And I was like, oh, shit. Like, as I was doing the password, I was just like holding my breath. Well, I wouldn't laugh.
He said that it was the generic.
No, and I did not believe him at all. I think that was just like, whatever. Anyways, we know that he was throwing a pineapple party as soon as we left, which we were like one of the last people to be able to snag a parking spot on his lawn.
So generic, like for generic SSIDs and why is somebody texting my email?
It's probably spam.
It is. It's a 910 number too, and it's coming to my personal email. But typically you can find the like the generic like factory setting stuff online. So like you can find the IP address to connect to the admin panel for your router and stuff. It's almost always 192.168.1.1, but you have to be connected to the network to do that to begin with. But if you forget like the admin password or whatever, say you factory reset your device and you don't have your box or manual anymore, you can just go look it up because you're supposed to change it.
Yeah, I don't believe for a second that it just happened to be Crack House and pineapple. That was way too specific.
I'm looking it up, pineapple.
They're going to be like added to a subscription service.
No. So there are
pineapple people in your area.
So there are these devices that people will set up at venues and events. I think we might have talked about this in an episode, but so you know how locally and across the country in different places you have like AT&T free Wi-Fi, Spectrum free Wi-Fi. So you have to be a customer. So like you're a Spectrum or AT&T customer and you go downtown. Okay. And like downtown has free open Wi-Fi networks. Okay. So your device will automatically connect because it has the same SSID. So, and there's no password. What's required is for you to like on the airplane, right? When you connect to the airplane Wi-Fi, it takes you to a captive gateway. You have to pay money or whatever.
Which didn't freaking work for me.
I didn't even use that. I didn't need to. I still had cell phone service.
Must be nice.
So say you connect to one, right? Your phone remembers that. So say it's like Spectrum Wi-Fi.
And then people steal your information.
Yeah. So then you go to a convention center somewhere. People set up these devices that are called pineapples that have all of these widely known networks on, and your phone automatically connects
to it.
You're not
they steal all your information, transfer all the money out of your bank account.
Yep.
Okay. Anyways, so this person was definitely throwing a pineapple party as soon as we left, but luckily we didn't go into his house because we probably would have gotten kidnapped. But anyways, so we were walking away from his house and Andrew stumbled upon...
Well, yeah, we were stopped on the side of the stadium by some random people. Do you remember their names?
No idea what their names were. It was an older gentleman and his partner.
Trashed. He was wasted. And this is like 3 p.m.
Yeah.
2 p.m.
It was 3 p.m.
So 6 hours before the game, which I mean,
it was a night game.
But I mean, like, so tailgating in general usually starts only a couple hours prior.
Okay, but they had definitely been tailgating since 9 a.m.
Yeah. Well, so like NC State, we have a lurker. Do you want to? We'll pause it real quick. We'll be right back. Maybe if I can move the mouse. There we go. All right, the lurker's gone. No more people peeping in our windows. No. So
it's not a pineapple person.
We're walking down the sidewalk. No one wants to take a picture. We take a picture. And then this guy walks out from his giant alumni tailgate party that's right along one of the entrances of the stadium. And he just like walks out and he just grabs my beard.
And it's like he's like stroking it and like
he's like, "Oh, this is such a great beard.
No,
how do you grow a beard like this?"
Not great. This is the most majestic beard I have ever seen. Can I please touch it? As he's already elbow deep in this thing, and just this is the most majestic thing I have ever touched. And he's just like.
Yeah. And there's like 30 people.
And then he's like, then he starts touching his face and he's like, I've just never been able to grow a beard. And like at this point, he's like white gray hair.
Yeah, his wife's like,
and I was like, are you naturally blonde? And he was like, yeah. I was like, I'm so sorry. You know, just blondies can't grow beards like this. Yep.
And then he gave us both a beer and then disappeared.
Except it wasn't even a beer.
Well, I had a beer.
It was called
You had something water or something. It wasn't ranch water.
No, not water. It's a gin drink.
Right.
And I saw the billboard as we were leaving.
I think it was called something drink.
I feel like Blue was part of the name. And the billboard that we passed leaving the airport and going to the hotel before we checked into the hotel for the first time, they implied...
long drink.
What?
Long drink.
They implied that it was the drink of the team.
It's called long drink. Yeah, see? I'm right.
But it's actually from the Netherlands? Finnish? Something? Yeah. Anyways, I'd never heard of it in my entire life. It was very, very sweet.
The long drink is an iconic alcoholic beverage that is a top taste of Finland and is now available in the USA. And
they definitely do not sell them down here at all.
Well, we don't know that, but probably not. At least not yet. But of course, everything is difficult to get in North Carolina because of the government-controlled nonsense. The phrase long drink is...
So I saw it for the first time, tasted it for the first time. Don't recommend it. Super sweet. It was my first time having gin. I'd never had gin in my entire life, and I had it by accident out of a can. So, yay. Anyways.
It's just, the whole reason is just... It's just a translation that means essentially a large volume. So it's long drink, tall drink is the literal translation. It's called Loncaro or something like that is what they call it.
While his beard was getting molested, I was standing there just laughing my ass off.
Yeah.
And then you said, while I was laughing, he said
what?
You just told me this last night. And I said, oh my God, I had no idea. No. I was laughing so hard.
That was back when we were on the backside of the tent when he was grabbing the stuff out of the cooler. And he saw your ring.
Oh, yeah. He saw my ring and he was like, are you guys engaged? And I said, no, we're married. And he was like, oh my God, married. And then again, I was laughing hysterically.
Gives me like a whole big like hug and is like patting me on the back. And he's like, man, you really outkicked your coverage. And
apparently I didn't hear that because I was laughing so hard at how ridiculous this guy was.
Yeah, he was wasted. Hours and hours and hours and hours and hours before the game.
So that was the highlight of Andrew's trip.
No.
Getting his beard molested.
That wasn't the highlight.
And being told that he outkicked his coverage.
No. I liked the drinks on Sunday.
Yeah,
at the first place.
Really, the first place was your favorite? Yeah. All right, but hold on. Let's not get to that yet. Let's at least keep talking about the game. Let's try to speak in consecutive order, not jump all over the place.
They're not watching this in order. They don't care.
What do you mean they're not watching this in order?
What are those movies where they do like everything is out of order? Like they show you like the context of something.
And I hate movies
like that. And then
they
do like flashbacks and
flash forwards. I hate
forwards.
movies like that. Everything needs to be in order, consecutive, makes sense.
No.
Yes.
No. I just finished watching Penguin last night and the story is better when you don't know all of the story until after you know the story.
Anyways, back to Michigan versus Michigan State.
Okay.
So we walked around and we stumbled upon a couple of kids that we ended up giving 2 tickets to.
And they probably sold them.
And we don't know what happened, but we gave them away.
They probably had a fight.
Again, we don't know what happened, but the only reason why we stopped at them is because there was a cute little puppy. So I stopped to talk to the puppy. Well, I'm super shy
we walked past and then you said something and then she was like, do you want to pet it? And you're like, yep.
Well, it was because we were walking and it was like, oh, cute puppy. And then she was like, do you want to pet it? I was like, yes, of course I do.
Yeah. And we had 2 tickets to give away. And
I mean, like 10 minutes straight, they were like, no, you guys are lying. This is a scam.
Yeah. And so, okay.
Like we weren't trying to get money for them. Yeah. We weren't trying to get anything out of it. We were just giving away.
She said her son was like scammed by somebody and like went to the stadium and they didn't work or something. We're like, what does that have to do with this? We're giving them to you for free. That'd be one thing if you were like taking money from somebody and you wanted to make sure that they worked.
Yeah, like if we were, what is it called? Scalping tickets?
Scalping, yeah. But she was like, how did she say it? Or the one girl was like, can we scan it? And I'm like, what's that going to do? You don't have the ticketing app. Like for the mud run, if I were to print out the tickets for the mud run that we generate on the mud run's website, your phone wouldn't do anything with that QR code.
Well, I asked for her email and I forwarded her my receipt directly from my email, along with giving her the PDF printed paper tickets. So that way she had not only the printed paper tickets with the QR codes on it, she had the email receipt to prove that they were legit. No. And she still didn't believe it, but
maybe they didn't even go in.
Who knows? They were pretty trashed.
Well, yeah, the one girl.
She was like this close to my face. Yeah, I don't like when people are that close in proximity to my face. And
are you serious?
Yeah,
Is this really a thing? Can I really have them? Are you sure? Do you want a drink too? Do you want to come home with me?
Stop. That did not happen, by the way. We didn't do any.
She said that.
No, she didn't.
To you, yeah. You were. I think you were talking to the mom at that point.
I was talking to the puppy. I was like literally only paying attention to the puppy.
Yeah, she said.
Again,
to you,
I don't do humans. Puppies, I can hang out with.
One of the college-aged girls, the like dark-haired one. She was like, "Do you guys want to come watch the game with us?" Like something along the lines of, "Do you guys want to come to our house and watch the game?" Where I was like,
we're going into this stadium.
Yeah, we have other tickets. We're going to the game.
I did not hear that at all.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I don't believe you.
You were talking to the mom. There was the one girl that was like more coherent that you were talking about the tickets with. And the mom was telling the story about the brother being scammed.
And I was just snuggling the puppy.
And it was like 1 or 2 of like the boyfriends, whatever, had walked over and they were kind of standing back behind them at that time. Mm-hmm. And that's when...
Because they heard free tickets. They were like, we're going to lurk around what?
Yeah, that's when she asked about it. And then the one guy was like, I'll take those.
Yeah. And then I do remember her snatching them back. She was like, they didn't give them to you.
Yeah. The mom probably sold them. She was sober enough that she was probably
She was the mama hen. She was like, you guys are too shit-faced. I'm going to make a couple dollars off these.
She didn't want to go back and forth probably. Like, I'm going to go home. It's going to be midnight before the game ends. I don't have to drive back here to pick you up and all this traffic.
They were tailgating literally like at the entrance.
Well, yeah. So there's a high school, if anybody's not familiar with that area, there's a high school across the corner and their whole like parking lot and there's like a big field. It's a big whole tailgate area, which Contrasts with like Notre Dame, NC State, a couple others, I think even Auburn. They have like the big gated lots where you tailgate at, and they keep them locked until a couple hours prior, with exception. Because there are people that buy the RV passes and they are literally intending to sleep in their RV in the parking lot.
No, thank you.
So those are allowed to go in, but like your generic local people with their vehicle, their pickup truck that want to drive into the parking lot, it's
Generic local people.
yeah.
So us generic local people went up to...
We weren't generic or local. We literally lived 900 miles away.
The club for the first time ever. That was your first club experience, right?
It's similar to the suites. We never... Well, we did walk out one time. But in the suite, you don't like leave and then go to the bar. Like the bar is in the suite.
Okay. Well, we didn't do the suites. We did the club.
Yeah.
And
that's why they gave us that stamp.
HVAC.
HVAC. Oh, air conditioning, you mean? Or air?
Yes, that's what HVAC is.
No, but I was trying to figure out why you were talking about that. Because you wanted to
that was the whole reason why you said you did it.
I know. But I was just remembering that I was sweating. That was the other thing too.
Meanwhile, I stayed in my puffy coat the entire time, even though we were inside for the first half.
I was wearing shorts.
We didn't go out until the second half.
I was wearing shorts, and we should bring that up in a second about the Florida comment. So I'm wearing shorts and sweating, and the tickets were folded up in my pocket. And when I pulled them out, the first layer that was against the inside of my pocket had started to get a little bit moist. So when I pulled it out, you could kind of see one of the QR codes through it, and I like fanned it for a little bit before we gave it to him.
Sweaty ball tickets. Beautiful.
Hey, as long as it worked, right?
Actually, at this point, we don't know if it worked. For all we know, your sweaty balls ruined the QR code and they didn't actually get in. And forever, they're going to think that we scammed them. Only it was your sweaty balls that messed it up.
Oh, well. Not my turn, not my problem. That's what I say. We
apologize if you happen to receive 2 free tickets from us.
I apologize for nothing.
And the QR code didn't scan. It was not because we did anything intentional.
I apologize for nothing.
Yes, but I do. I apologize for everything. I apologize for existing.
No. So.
Anyways, so we were up in the club.
Yep.
And
we saw Connor Stallions and Bryce Underwood's dad and I think brother who were with him. He apparently Stool Presidente. That's his actual handle on Twitter is El Presidente.
Okay.
Or Stool. It's one or the other. He has like one is in his bio and the other one's like the actual handle. I think it's El Presidente. So yeah, Dave Portney paid Connor Stallions to take Bryce Underwood's dad to the game. So that was cool. So we saw them and I was like, hey, that's him. And then I was right because then a horde of people showed up. And then we paid for overpriced drinks because you're a captive audience and you can't bring anything in. It's worse than a movie theater.
Yeah, $35 for 2 high noons that were the small ones.
The 12 ounce or whatever, yeah.
That was insane. I have never paid that much for alcohol in my entire life for 2 drinks.
Yeah, you go to... So...
That was wild.
Used to be when you go to like a sporting event, they give you like the big like 40 ounce cup or whatever. And that's like 20 years ago, it was like $8 or $10 for that beer. Mm-hmm. But then at least you have that much beer. Here, they were giving you actual cans. Really, no, it doesn't.
Really?
No.
Oh. Oh, because you just chug it.
Yeah. Or you spill it on the person in front of you or something. So the game was fun. Nona got to see all the pageantry.
The pageantry.
The lights, the band, the cheering, the songs, the dance, the touchdowns, the shivering.
And it was like, what, their second win of the year?
5th.
Okay, basically their second win of the year with the way that they're playing.
Yep.
And the amount of people...
Sharon Moore needs to be fired.
That were coming up and were so invested and just like so...
Nona's not good at ignoring people. I'm a professional at ignoring people. Nona is not good at it. People come up and start talking to me, and I just continue staring and ignore them, and eventually they get the hint. And Nona's like, they're like all up in her face, and she's like, "Oh yeah, hey, boom, you're screwed."
You're screwed. It's because I am nice.
That's not, just ignore them. They can still think that you're nice, but you just ignore them.
But that's being rude.
It's not being rude. You're not there to talk to them. You have no obligation to talk to some random person.
I have no obligation to appease a random person.
Exactly. That's why I don't, because I don't care.
Okay.
If you just walk up to me and you're like, "Oh, hey, oh, yeah, whatever," I'm going to be like, "I can't hear you. Okay. You're literally not talking to me right now. You're talking to somebody else."
Okay. And then as we were leaving, after they won.
Yeah, some old woman was like, "Are you from Florida?
You're wearing shorts."
Yeah. So somebody in the comments, how does this make any sense, right? Why would a person that leaves a warm climate and goes to a cold climate wear shorts? Like, how does that comment make sense? That if you go from a colder climate to a cold climate, it probably feels warmer for you.
His argument was it would only make sense if they were saying, "Are you from Alaska?"
Yeah. That would make more sense. Like, "Oh, you just came from a blizzard and now it probably feels blistering hot to you?" Sure.
It's a balmy 40 degrees out.
Yeah.
Or I think it was like 35.
Yeah, that's about when we start wearing short sleeves and stuff after like a polar vortex.
Okay. Meanwhile, again, I was in my puffy coat the entire day.
I was sweating
I was in my puffy coat the entire day.
I was
my
sweating.
Uggs, my very fur-lined Uggs to stay warm.
And I was sweating. Right?
Mm-hmm. And then we went back to our Catfish hotel.
Yep.
And
had more overpriced drinks.
What?
I actually don't think they were that expensive.
What are you talking about? We went back to the hotel and went to sleep.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, after the game, after the game and walking around all day.
Well, I left and went to the gas station to get Advil and Tylenol and stuff.
I showered and went to bed.
Yeah. No, that's a lie. We watched Hocus Pocus.
Okay, we turned it on for 5 minutes.
Okay.
And I went to bed.
Okay.
We did not watch the whole thing.
We watched a couple minutes of it.
Anyways. So the next day, he had this whole plan of taking me to real vineyards and real wineries because he says that everything here in North Carolina is bullshit and everything in the Midwest is real. And so
I didn't say everything, just that there are real.
He wanted to expose me to something real. And again, he got catfished. The very first place that he took me to at 10 a.m. Sunday morning.
11.
Okay.
We left at 10 something, got there when they opened because it was like a 45-minute drive.
Okay.
We went just south of Flint. We were like 20 minutes from Flint.
Okay.
I'm giving them a reference point.
Okay.
Yeah.
So anyways, before noon, and he had looked at all of the pictures online. It was on a lake/pond, according to the pictures. There were grapevines that we could walk through, according to the pictures. It was multiple barns and event space that we could wander around, and just it looked beautiful on the pictures. We got there.
Fenton.
We got there. It was kind of right off the highway. There was a lake nearby, but nowhere. Lake. Yeah, but nowhere near the property. There was a lake nearby. So he got kind of excited. Oh, they must have their own area on the lake that's just private for the vineyard. Nope.
This is the main picture.
They can't really see, but yes, it's pretty on that picture.
And there's like a little little swampy area right there in front that looks like it's sitting right there because it's right
but
next
that's
to the
just a
lake.
tiny retention pond on their commercial warehouse property with no grapes anywhere nearby. And they said they didn't even grow their own.
Yeah.
They said they outsourced it from everywhere else.
That's, if you can see it, that's like the bar that we sat at.
So again, he was catfished 2.0 for both the hotel and the wineries / vineyards. But
they had good drinks and good pizza.
But again, I did not hold it against you. I was just down for the experience. We asked everybody there, all of the people who worked there, where they would recommend going
where
next.
You saw where the wedding was set up?
I don't know.
It was like an outdoor fireplace thing.
But anyways, we asked them, and even the employees didn't have any real recommendations. They were like recommending breweries over any wineries or vineyards because they just kept repeating over and over, there's not that much on this side of the state, which Andrew is from the other side of the state, 4 hours away. So he had grown up with more in that area, just assuming that it was going to be the same over on the Ann Arbor side of Michigan.
Yep.
So again, even though he apologized multiple times, which I appreciate, I wasn't upset. I was just down for the adventure. We did come across some beautiful orchards, and that was probably the highlight of my trip. Was it maybe the next one that we went to, which it was very family friendly. It was a Sunday afternoon at that point. I think it was around like 12:30, 1 o'clock. So everybody was out with their kids and walking around the orchard. You could get apple cider donuts, but then they had a separate building where it was like hard cider slushies, and the line was literally out the door. But
it was how they had it set up. It didn't have to be like that, but they were clearly using it only as a walkthrough, pick up your order and get the hell out of the building.
But it was
because
beautiful.
They had tables that were stacked up. It looks like maybe on like a weekday when they're more dead.
Right.
They would open
but on
up
a Sunday afternoon when everybody is going to be there, So anyways, it was beautiful, and it tasted delicious. So that was probably my favorite one, where the orchard.
Oh, you didn't like the woman who?
Oh, so we went.
Was offended by your pretentiousness.
What?
Because you're like, oh yeah, I don't really like it. She's like, oh, you tasted it out of order. You have to do it this way, and then lick your nose with it, and then wipe both of your eyes at the same time, and do a handstand in the corner, and then it'll taste different. We went
to a cute little bottle shop.
No, they were a winery.
Did they make their own?
Yeah.
Okay. It was just very, very, very small. There were like 4 tables in the whole little area. It was as big as like our living room. So
it's an old house.
But yeah, the lady who I think maybe she was the owner, she was very
she was offended by you.
Yes. she didn't like that I didn't like the wine, and she didn't like that I wasn't drinking it in the order that she had suggested. That's why
there's numbers, and you should follow the numbers.
Let me go back. Each place that we went, I only tasted. I didn't get like I wanted like samples of several options. Flights. Yes. See, I blanked on the name. That way I could make it through the day. Anyways, and she did not like that anyways, whatever.
You shouldn't come here if you don't like our wine.
Guess what?
I'm already here.
I don't need to ever go back, and it's okay. The orchards were beautiful, though.
Could you imagine if restaurants can review patrons?
I'm sure that will be like a 2050 era.
No, it'll be sooner than that. Somebody had made that for just people in general. Originally, I believe it was supposed to be like a reverse dating kind of thing. Like they created it to be like, review this person that you went on a date with. And it turned into just review everybody you've ever met in your life.
Okay.
And it just immediately turned into this complete shit show where people were just trashing people, and it was a whole harassment thing, and it got shut down. But
this actually happened.
yeah.
When?
I don't know, 5-10 years ago.
Are you sure it wasn't like a random movie that you saw?
No, it was real. It was called People with 2 E's, P-E-E or P-E-E. Wait. Oh my God. I'm having one of those moments where like spelling things that when you spell doesn't make sense. So I'm sorry, misspelled. So P-E-E, P-E-E-P-L-E. Yeah.
Okay. Andrew's having a stroke.
It's a social networking app that lets users rate people personally, professionally, and romantically.
Could you imagine
It was
if
2015. The Yelp for People is what it was called.
our bosses reviewed us publicly instead of just privately in our employee file?
Yeah. Some of the concerns raised about the app included harassment, trolling, and privacy.
Okay.
Some details about the app. Users could create an account and sync their Facebook account. That's already bad. Could choose 3 words to describe themselves. Could review and delete reviews about themselves. So I guess it's not all bad as long as you're staying on top of it, because you can delete bad reviews, which is kind of
could you imagine if you were having to spend all day just hitting delete, 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 delete?
The way that you found other people is by syncing your Facebook account. So they were basically harvesting Facebook data.
Gotcha. Well, I didn't even know that this thing existed.
Yeah.
Did you try it out, Andrew?
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah. You could recommend people for personal,
Is the reason why you didn't because you knew people were going to give you a low ranking?
No.
1 star, negative star.
Everyone knew that it was going to bomb from the onset, so it was just watching the dumpster fire from the side.
Speaking of dumpster fire, what are your thoughts and feelings of little brother trying to start fights?
Well, as oh my God, Idaho boy, I can't think of his name. As our tight end said, little brother's going to do little brother shit. Mm-hmm. That's what he said in his post-game interview.
Okay.
They were asking about the chippiness, and he was like, little brother's going to do little brother shit.
So I didn't know that was a thing. And then there was 20 seconds left on the game, and they were storming the field.
They didn't storm the field. Nobody stormed the field.
It was a whole swarm of people onto
storming the field is when the fans.
No. Okay. I'm talking about Michigan State.
Yeah.
Rushing the field.
So the players, they started a fight with Colston. Loveland is his name.
I don't understand. The game's not over. Why? What? He was like, they're fighting.
It was
like, what? He had to explain to me in the stand that they were fighting. Yeah. And we're like, but there's 20 seconds left on the game. He's like, yeah, they're mad that they lost.
Yeah. They had taken the knee, victory formation. One of the Michigan State players hit Colston Loveland. Colston Loveland, bigger than the guy who hit him, stood up to him and kind of butted his chest into him. And then he grabbed his helmet and was trying to drag him down. And then the Michigan linemen.
Okay, they were this small on the field, guys, because we were that high up in the stands, up in the club.
I could see everything clearly.
Literally, everybody was ant size. So I was just watching ants on the field.
I could see everything clearly. But then there was the Michigan State fans lost their minds about it. Michigan State asked for the Big Ten and the NCAA to open an investigation. They were saying that one of our running backs, Khalil Mollings, was stomping on somebody, a Michigan State player, and they showed a bunch of angles, and they're like, see, and all you can see is him looking down, but you can't see anything that they're doing. Mm-hmm. And the NCAA was like, there's nothing here. We're clearing him of any wrongdoing.
And you said last year they fought in the tunnel.
The last 3 years, there's been something, yeah. And it wasn't
some players were arrested?
2 years ago, there was 8 players from Michigan State were arrested for starting fights with Michigan players. So Michigan only has one tunnel, and it's on the away side. So you let the away team go into the tunnel first, and then you follow them into your locker room.
And what, they were staying in the tunnel
They
waiting
were in like the hallway, tunnel, whatever, and weren't going to the locker room.
Gotcha.
Came out there and were mad, started a fight out there. But as Colston said, little bro's going to do little bro shit.
Okay.
Yep. And yeah, so immediately, he's cleared of both he and Khalil Mullings, cleared of any wrongdoing, blah, blah, blah. Oh, the NCAA's favorite child. In what world? They're still under multiple investigations for the whole cheating thing and all of Jim Harbaugh stuff. Like, in what world is Michigan the Big Ten's favorite team and the NCAA's favorite team? That's the dumbest thing they could have said. Ooh, the special child. Sure. If your special child is the one that you normally torture. It's like the redheaded stepchild. You're like, here, you want a lollipop while I beat you?
Oh my God. That's terrible. Wow.
But that's about what it amounts to.
Wow. Okay.
All right. Anyways, that's enough for this episode.
Okay.
We flew on an airplane. We flew back. We made it safely both ways.
We did. And Andrew was in a lot of pain.
Yeah. Nona made me run in the airports, and then we ended up sitting on the airplane for extra time. She didn't make me run. Nona just has these walking legs that, like, she basically sprints. Okay, perfect example. Those Olympic people that walk run, that's Nona's like grocery store stride. Because you can't like take both feet off the ground at the same time, otherwise it's considered running. Like, that's the rule, right?
No.
Even the Army, I think all the military. So if you have a running or certain profile, knee or whatever, low impact profile where you can't actually run for your PT test, they do that. Speed walking is your run event.
Okay.
And we had people that would follow you in a golf cart to make sure that you always had one foot in contact with the marching surface, is the term, the ground. One foot has to always be in contact. So you can't, if both feet are up in the air at any point in time, it's considered running.
I'm an Olympic speed walker.
Yeah. You just don't do the hip shift.
I can't tell if you're making fun of me or if you're actually proud of how fast I walk.
You're basically a sprinter. If there was an Olympic sport for grocery shopping, you would win.
Okay. Make it a thing so that I can win.
Okay. All right. That's been enough. We'll see you in the next episode. Don't forget about the giveaway. It's in the comments and in community tab on Facebook. It is a YouTube. It is a YouTube specific subscriber giveaway. So 2,000 subscribers by a date this month.
Date.
There's a link to the rules. You can find the rules because we had to be all official to make sure, you have to have an alternate way and blah, blah, blah. I can't spend money. It's all dumb. It's all these legal things once you do things officially. You can't just have fun. I can't just be like, you're a winner, like Oprah.
Don't be Oprah.
Oh, actually, while we're talking about sports, closing statement here, because I just saw this. Did you see that Whoopi Goldberg started a sports channel network or something like that? And it's like AWSN, All Women's Sports Network.
No.
And they're only going to exclusively broadcast women's sports.
No.
Yeah. And the comments are all like, so when guys don't watch it, they're going to blame guys for it failing. Good job.
No, I had no idea.
Yeah, it was, I think she was on Fallon, I think is the Jimmy Fallon show.
Okay.
Was who she was talking to. And it's like, if it's women's sports, we're going to broadcast it. We're trying to fill the gap in broadcasting rights and blah, blah, blah. The reason that it's not broadcast now is because people don't watch it. Making an entire channel around it doesn't seem like it's a successful move, but maybe you get a bunch of billionaires putting money behind it. Maybe, whatever. I don't know, but I don't think it's going to work.
Okay, that's Andrew's opinion, and we will follow up on the matter a year from now and see if it was a success.
Chloe, are you going to put it on the calendar, family calendar?
Yeah, so Andrew, I will put it on the family calendar, unlike throwing away your crock pot.
All right. Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary, Andrew. Goodbye, everybody. Bye.